when you're with somebody 24/7 for 6 days on an island, you see and learn other stuff, right?
Yep.
She was a raging alcoholic.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
She was blackout drunk twice a day.
Wow. Gosh.
So we broke up at baggage claim at Phoenix Sky Harbor.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily.
The trauma and drama of the holidays.
Yeah, but the shocking stories of sugar dating. Well, you're about to leave. You're going to the Caribbean. Where are you going?
Yeah, we're going to Grenada in the Caribbean for Christmas. And, I started thinking about that. And I asked Trucker, I'm like, why at one of the busiest times of the year, when most people just want to be home for the holidays and celebrating with family, why do you always want to jump on a plane and get the hell out of here? And he said, well, think about it. When I was a kid, we celebrated Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the holidays like a normal, define normal, but like a traditional family. And then my parents immersed us in this cult, and suddenly we didn't celebrate anything. There was no Christmas. There were no birthdays. And so then you get used to that for a number of years. And then, as a young adult, getting married a couple different times and trying to just traverse coordinating how your new spouse feels about celebrating the holidays. And he's like, it just gives me stress. It just gives me anxiety. And I just don't feel super festive. I don't know how to handle the holidays. So I just get the hell out of here.
Well, that sounds like fun. I might bring this up in some extra sugars, and we may have already heard by the time this episode comes out, but I have had some very interesting meet and greets this week. Some that didn't go so well, some that went extraordinarily well, some unbelievably great conversations about sugar dating, some coaching, a lot of good stuff. But I have an announcement.
Oh, good.
Shakira, next Sugarpalooza 6, I talked to the guy in charge of the suites. He put us in the owner suite. He changed us from the 2 suites on the end, and now we are in the owner suite. So it's one big suite, 40 tickets. We're going to have our own bartender.
Nice.
How cool is that?
As well we should.
Yeah. So if you guys want to attend Sugarpalooza 6, applications are now open. Go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You'll see the party tab. Lily, it is a fun weekend. It's going to include 3 days, 2 nights of accommodations. We got a pre-party. I'm thinking of having the pre-party again at the country club.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
We need to.
I'm sorry, the mixer the night before. And then we'll have a pre-party at my house, a party bus. You've got it reserved, right?
I do. Yes, yeah. I changed the date on that.
So we have a party bus that will pick everybody up at my house, take us down to Footprint Arena, where we have a huge private suite. It's the owner suite. It's dead center of the court. It's going to be fantastic. And then we got the concert with all you can eat, all you can drink. And then the party bus will take us home. And you know how much this costs the sugar babies? Nothing. Well, you got to find your way here.
Well, you got to buy something cute to wear.
But the sugar daddies will pay for everything. I've had people ask me in the past, like, is this some sexual orgy thing? I'm like, no, it's actually very, very innocent. This is just a celebration of the podcast, like-minded people coming together, having a great time, celebrating the weekend. It's June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So
and what that means,
get your applications in.
For our listeners is, get on the ball because there's only 40 slots. Yeah,
so we're a little bit limited. I had originally booked 50, but since they moved us to the other suite, it's just a better situation, and I think it's going to be easier to handle. 50 gets to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great concert. I can't wait. Now, if you are a Patreon member, you get priority judging, and it costs nothing to become a Patreon member. That's just basically our podcast fan page. We do throw some things in there for the freebies or the free members. Now, the tiers start at $10 a month, and then they go up from there. We have some coaching and profile review available. Matter of fact, I got a message today, Lily. A guy just signed up for the $25 tier, and he is needing some help. So I'm going to get you that information.
Yep.
I think just a couple days ago. We love doing that. We want to help you guys be successful in this crazy sugar dating world. Lily and I actually talked. We had a really fun week. We talked with a lady that's doing a film about sugar dating, and she's trying to figure out which direction she's going. She's out of Hollywood, and we're kind of, I don't know, giving her some advice and insight.
Already has a short film, and she wants us to take a look at it, and she kind of wants to use us as consultants. Yeah,
consulting on that, which is really cool. And then the other thing, in January of 2025, Lily and I are booked to be on a podcast. The guy, he says he gets like 9 to 12 million views a month or something.
A lot.
Huge. Yeah. So Fargo Talks.
Yep.
So look for that. We'll put a link to that as soon as we get that done. But we're going to actually come to Las Vegas and be on a podcast and talk about sugar dating.
You're already in Vegas right now.
Well, I'm actually, I'm zooming in from Vegas. I'm playing a little poker tournament, the World Poker Tour.
You need to get a second home as much as you're in Vegas.
I know I love Vegas, but it is very expensive. I need to get back home and get to work. But anyway, we want you guys to join the Patreon. Like I said, you'll get priority judging for the party. If you're not coming to the party, it's still a lot of fun. The community chat, there's a lot of great advice in there, a lot of fun memes about sugar dating. You get to hear all the episodes before anybody else. There's just a lot of really cool benefits. It's like a big family. And we're getting close to, 500 or so people that are members. That's including all the free members. And you guys have started quite a little sugar baby community chat on the side. And I think that was started through the Patreon, all the people congregating there. So, you might be interested in becoming a part of that. That's a girls only chat where they talk about all things sugar dating. And there's so many situations that come up and lots of great advice is being thrown out there. So,
yeah, it's good. It's fun.
I'll have a link to our Patreon at the bottom of this episode. It's also on our website, but it's patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy Podcast. And it helps us. There's a lot of expenses in this podcast. You have no idea. Lily, she does not do this for free.
I absolutely don't.
Yeah, and she spends quality hours editing every episode and spends quality money. And Marcus spends quality money making sure that everything sounds great. All right. Well, we have a sugar daddy in the house. Let's get to him. Lily, you met this guy. How did you meet him?
Yeah, we met on Seeking, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We met on Seeking. We talked a little bit. He was out of town at the time that we first started talking, and so kind of just talked on the phone, did a little video chatting, met in person a couple of times, and
And we're calling him Crash.
Yes. He loves to sing karaoke, and Crash is his stage name.
Crash is my karaoke name.
Yes.
So this works.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, Kimmy and I went to karaoke, met him in Old Town, right?
Yeah.
For karaoke one night.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, that
he's
sounds
good.
fun. Now, is Crash an actual song?
Crash, people ask me, like, where'd you get that name? And the short version of the story, I was on a date 25 years ago or whatever, and we went to a karaoke bar. I think it was a first date. Go to the karaoke bar, and the girl asks, hey, are you going to sing? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll sing. She's like, well, what's your karaoke name? And I'm just like, I didn't sing any then. So I was just like, I'm just going to use my name. Well, this bar had like TVs with the lists of all the upcoming singers coming up. She's like, look, your name's already up there. You can't use that. You got to have a karaoke name.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Well, we had just talked about that Kevin Costner movie where he's Crash Davis, the baseball player. Well, Boulder.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll be Crash. And she's like, you don't look like a Crash. And I'm not even kidding. I have tons of friends that only know me as Crash.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, Crash. Tell us about your journey into sugar dating. First of all, how old are you?
48.
48. Looks great, doesn't he, Lily?
Yeah. Do you remember when I first met him, and I hadn't actually met him in person yet, and I walked around the office calling him McDreamy?
Oh, this is McDreamy?
This is McDreamy. He's a
my
good-looking
God,
guy.
I didn't know that story.
I have heard about you before.
He's a good-looking guy. What is your background? What's your nationality or whatever?
Oh,
Your ethnicity. That's where I'm going.
yeah. So I'm Mescalero Apache
Okay.
and Norwegian.
Okay. Because
Wow,
he's
what
got
a mix.
these dark complected good looks, and he's got a clean shaven head, which drives me crazy. A little bit of stubble, a little gray stubble going on. Much like Marcus.
Well, and I've got the Norwegian thing going on too.
Do you? What?
My dad and my grandma are full-blooded Norwegian.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah.
Well, I guess how I got into this totally by accident. I didn't intend to do it. I'm one of those that got divorced during that COVID summer.
Okay.
My wife and I had a falling out. She asked me to leave, and I didn't have any place to go. So I was living in Airbnbs that summer. And it just so happens at the same time, my mother was single. Her husband had passed away from cancer. So she and I were both dating online at the same time. So I give it a try, and I was on Hinge and all, maybe another one, but man, I didn't do very well at all.
How did mom do?
I haven't either.
My mom was crushing it, absolutely crushing it.
That's wild.
I went to
Well, the women do better on those because they get bombarded
And
with
that's
options.
true. That's true.
Yeah, but they also say older guys, like in their 70s, there's fewer of them, so they should have a pick of a bunch of older women, right?
Okay. I don't know.
Well, I'm,
Unless they're not looking for the older women.
Yeah.
But your mom was looking for age appropriate.
yeah, she was looking for guys her age, and she's juggling like 4 guys at the same time.
That's great.
Went to her place for Thanksgiving, and she's showing me all these pictures and these messages, and so I left Thanksgiving thinking, oh man, I got to step up my game. This is horrible, right? So I went to the bar with my buddy who's about my age, and I'm telling him this, and he goes, hey, do you remember when we were in our 20s and all the like really smoking hot girls were with old guys with money? And
Right?
and I was married then, so I was just like, I don't know. That doesn't sound quite right. And he's like, well, there you go. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, dude, you're an old guy with money. At this point, I'm like 44. I was like, no, I'm not old and I'm not wealthy. He's like, yeah, okay. Imagine you're a 22-year-old Latina in the Valley, and you know, she's been with this guy who always has an eighth of a tank of gas, and he's asking her to chip in for Taco Bell, lives with his mom.
You're a catch.
Yeah, like you're going to do fine. And so he pointed me towards Seeking, and I was immediately absolutely drowning in offers. People that wanted to get together.
Refreshing, huh?
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Now, your friend
Yeah.
was on there as well?
No, well, that's the funny thing. He wanted me to try it and then let him know how it went. And then once I, was getting a lot of bites, he jumped on then. Yeah.
And has he had success on there, do you think?
The different kinds of success than me, I suppose. He found somebody quickly that he liked, and he's been with her for 3 years, maybe.
Oh, nice. Well, the quality of the matches is so much better. I talked about that I went on a few meet and greets this week, and I'll touch on those on an extra sugar. I'll get into a little deeper. One of them used fake pictures. She used the Instagram model. And I looked up the model immediately. Lilly did too.
I did too.
And-
As he's telling me the story and he
Yeah.
sent me the pictures, I'm like, oh, she's got to be someone famous. And I plugged it into
Here-
Google Lens. And
Here's what happened. She couldn't use photos because of her job. And so she picked somebody that looked similar to her. And when I showed up, I was blown away on how gorgeous this girl was. I was not catfished at all. I did call her out on using the fake photos, but then when she explained it to me, I understood. And I'm like, well, thank you for not overselling yourself, because I would have been severely disappointed if something other than that girl in the model picture showed up, and you actually might be better than her. And the other thing is she was punctual, which impressed me. She was there right on time.
Definitely.
It was such a great match. Then I went and had another meet and greet with a girl just a couple of days ago. 48, absolutely stunning, cute as can be. And then she's telling me, yeah, I used to date this, NFL player. And then I ended up getting married for 20 something years and this and that. And then she told me the NFL player just in passing. And she goes, yeah, do you know him? I'm like, Hall of Famer, multiple Super Bowl rings. You went out with that guy? Yeah, when I was like 20, we had a thing. And then she sent me pictures of it. I'm just like, wow, I would have never had a chance with these type girls ever.
No, that's not who she married, right? She dated him?
No, she ended up marrying somebody else because she wanted a traditional relationship.
Yeah.
Dating an NFL player is a whole different ballgame. No pun intended. But for Crash, I can imagine all of a sudden the matches that you're getting, you're just like, oh, now we're cooking with gas, right?
Absolutely. I was loving it.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
When you first started online dating, did you know definitively what type of woman you were looking for, or were you just kind of looking to get out there and sow some wild oats and have some fun?
Well, my wife was 8 years older than me. So I was looking for somebody that was, as you said, age appropriate or even a little bit older. But what you find on Seeking is younger, hotter. And I mean, once that's in your lap, you take it. Yeah.
So were you initially just dating a bunch of different girls? Did you hit it off with anyone in particular right away?
Yeah. So on Seeking, I wasn't real particular about height or ethnicity, not even so much age, but they did tend to be in their 20s. I made, I guess, a lot of introductions. Not very many of them did I hit it off with. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of 1 and 2 dates, and then it just kind of fizzled out. I did eventually start getting actual arrangements set up where, hey, they were expecting, a certain amount every time we got together or on a weekly or monthly basis.
Was it hard for you to come around to that, never having sugar dated prior? Was it any type of moral dilemma to you for compensating somebody for their time and attentions?
No, there was not any kind of moral dilemma. You just have to get used to it.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of in the finance world, and it's just sort of like, okay, these are the costs. Like they fit into different buckets in this case, but they're still costs. It all works out. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I didn't have any problem with it because I did it for my ex-wife. I took care of her financially, and any girl that I dated, I tried to help her. And so to me, it was just a natural progression of being a provider.
Yeah.
But I did have issues with scams, and I've heard on your show, you guys talk about, the scams you've run into. I had the one where the girl shows up. She wants to meet at my place, and then she shows up. It's not the same girl that was in the pictures.
Catfished.
And what are you going to do? Not let her in? I mean, I
know. I've had that happen a couple times where I literally was like looking out the blinds and she shows up and she's at least 50 pounds heavier than her photos. And I'm just like, now what am I going to do? I'm stuck.
The one that showed up for me, I don't think it was the same girl. She wasn't heavier. She just looked a lot rougher.
Yeah.
And she pulled the scam where she comes in and she's like, oh, do you have the gas money or whatever she said she needed? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so let's say it was $100. She takes the 100, then she's got to go use the bathroom. She comes out and she's like, oh, my dad's calling. Can I go talk to him?
That girl.
You got hit up by that girl?
Well, but at that point, I don't care because I don't want to spend time with her. That's not the girl I wanted. Yeah, go ahead. Get the call.
I got hit by that girl, and my neighbor got hit by that girl.
Yeah, it's probably the same girl.
No, absolutely it is. 100% it's the same girl.
Well,
Marcus has her license plate off her car. He took a picture of it when she was at his neighbor's house. He's like, that's the same girl.
I'm sitting out in my front yard working on some things, and this cute blonde, or, is far away, this young blonde, pulls up and kind of parks in a weird spot at my neighbor's house. And I know my neighbor's on Seeking. So this is so bad.
The captain.
So anyway, he walks in and I go, oh, my neighbor's getting lucky. And I thought, you know what? That's really weird how she parked in that certain orientation. And so I just kind of walked over, took a picture of her license and her car just in case. And then sure enough, I go inside to do something. The car is gone, and I see my neighbor walking out of the garage, kind of looking up and down the street. And I go and I look at my
baby go.
And I go look. So I go look at my cameras, and sure enough, she walked to her car very quickly, and then she backed the car up and then did a really quick U-turn and took off. And then I contacted my neighbor and I go, "Hey, did you just get scammed?" And he was like, "Oh, maybe." So I knew it was the same girl.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Was your girl blonde?
No, brunette.
Oh, maybe it was a different girl.
I don't know.
Could be a whole ring of scammers.
That's a lot of work for a little money.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But it was worth $100 to have her get out of there, and then I had my evening.
Yeah. I've actually done that. I've met a girl in Vegas, and we were hanging out, and I just wasn't into her. And she goes, "Hey, can I have my allowance or PPM so I can go play slots?" And I said, "Fuck yeah, here you go," and never come back. I mean, I just did not. Nothing sexual happened. It was worth it to me to get rid of her.
Yeah. I know you've been doing this a long time, but I was telling Lily I screwed up early on something. And,
okay.
Like when you're first getting going, it's frustrating when you're getting hit with these scams and the no-shows or people like really, really late. And so I had this time, this girl she'd gotten me for the scam where like they needed some money, then she needed some more money, and she's stringing me along, right? Mm-hmm. So I was into it for, I don't even want to say how much actually.
Just tell us. We got to know.
It was pushing $1,000.
Okay.
We've been there.
So I kind of lost it. And so she came over this one time, or maybe she had called or texted and said she needed some more. And I was like, okay, all right, here we go. We're going to talk about it now. So she comes over and I was like, yeah, all right, let's go. We'll hit up the ATM. I don't have any cash on me. And so we're in the car. She's in my passenger seat and I didn't go to the bank. I was like, we're just going to drive until we work this out. We're going to talk through this, right?
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, there would have been an ATM just up the road. I hop on the 10 and I'm just going south out of town. Okay.
How's the conversation going?
Well, she's not happy. And then she could tell that I'm pissed. And so anyway, she's like, you need to let me out of this car right now. And I was like, no, we're going to talk this through. You asked me for this and you asked me for that. And you said we were going to do this. You said we're going to do that. It wasn't going well and totally my bad. I would never do that at this point now. She said, hey, you need to let me out of this car right now. Well, hey, we're on the 10 outside of town. Okay. I don't know if we had hit the Indian reservation south of Phoenix, but we're on our way there. I was just like, okay, I guess if you need to get out, you need to get out. And I let her off at the side of the highway and she got out. So, all right.
No way.
I go to the next exit. I flip back around and I go home and I'm like, I'm never going to hear from her again. And okay, I guess that's it. That's over. The next morning, there's 2 cops at my door and they're like, hey,
oh my God,
we need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. I didn't invite him in. I said, okay. And they asked me a few questions. Obviously, it was about this. I said, I don't have any comment about that. And I don't have any comment about that. I didn't say anything. So maybe after 5 or 6 questions, they said, here's our card. You're going to hear from us again. If you feel like you want to talk to us, go ahead and give us a call. Call my attorney. And they had used the words like false imprisonment, I think was the charge that they were after.
Because you wouldn't let her out of the car right away.
Yeah.
Until she insisted.
Right. So
what a terrible place to get dropped off. I would have been like, take me someplace safe.
Yeah. Again, I screwed that up. But that was the level of frustration, with some of those first meetings.
Yeah.
Whatever became of that?
Oh, yeah. So after they left, I have a corporate attorney and, it's at a big office and they have other people that deal with criminal stuff. So they put somebody on the phone with me and they're like, what did you say? And I said, I didn't tell them anything. Yeah, the fact that you let her out on your own, that's going to be a misdemeanor, not a felony. They probably won't pursue it. If they don't have any other evidence other than her word, it's probably not going anywhere, but don't say anything to them. Tell them you have an attorney. And I never heard from the cops again.
Did you ever hear from the girl again?
Yeah.
No.
She didn't try to blackmail any more money out of you?
No. And I never attempted to get in touch with her either.
Now, how old was this girl and was she smoking hot? Is this why you kept throwing money at her?
I mean, yeah, she was hot. How old was she? I don't know. Mid-20s.
Mid-20s, yeah. And she seemed authentic, like she really needed the help.
Yeah, the first cry for help was we had just had a bad rain here, and she said that her place got flooded and it wrecked a bunch of her stuff, including her work laptop. And so she needed money to like get back to work.
These damn scammers.
Yeah.
With their stories.
Well, everybody has a story. That's one thing I will commend. I don't know if you've gotten the emails from Seeking, but they are cutting back on the online scammers a lot by doing some verifications. And I have noticed a huge decrease in the online scammers, which is really nice because they just were flooding my inbox. You know, the reason people try to scam is because men are still falling for it. If men weren't falling for it, then, they'd go away. But
didn't think with their little head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in-person scams are a little harder. We've talked about many times where, man, once they're in front of you, they could tug your heartstrings a little bit. Their story, it sounds plausible sometimes. Sometimes you just want to give them the money so they'll shut up. Yeah, I don't know. There's all kinds of reasons.
Yeah. Is that your worst experience? Was that your worst scam?
Oh, that's the worst scam. Another bad experience. I took a girl to Hawaii for a 6-day vacation, having only known her for about 8 weeks.
And in that 8 weeks,
that's okay.
Yeah, but in the 8 weeks, had you gone on a lot of one-on-one dates, face-to-faces?
Once a week.
Oh, okay. Yep. So you'd been out with her 8 times.
I've been out, about 8 times. She lived in Tucson, maybe hour and 45 minutes away.
Okay.
So I would drive down there, have dinner, maybe do something fun, and then I'd drive home. Yeah, so I never went inside her place. It was just those dates. Well, when you're with somebody 24/7 for 6 days on an island, you see and learn other stuff, right?
Yep.
She was a raging alcoholic.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
She was blackout drunk twice a day.
Wow. Gosh.
So we broke up at baggage claim at Phoenix Sky Harbor.
Did you really?
Yep. Never saw
I
her.
found out that the hard way. I flew somebody to Vegas, and I had never gone out with her, and I found out she was a raging alcoholic. Oh, my God. But fortunately, it was only a weekend. That's always a nightmare when you find out a different side of them. You didn't know that before, huh? After 8 weeks, though.
I just felt like, we'd go out and she drank socially and we'd have a good time.
Yeah.
And she just had a lot more time when we were on vacation to drink double tequilas with pineapple juice. And
oh, gosh.
yeah.
Oh, is that
I
what
am
it was?
kind of into tequila and pineapple juice right now. I just got into it. It's really delicious with a splash of lime juice, but maybe not doubles. Let's stick with the singles.
Maybe not 3 doubles before lunch.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, the one I met, it was a double Tito's and soda. Oh, my God. And then she started getting in fights with cab drivers and telling them that we were all aliens here and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So that was fun.
Was that the one that yelled that Michelle Obama was a man?
Yes, that's the one. We were actually
At a bar?
We were actually hanging out at a bar in Phoenix, and then she just randomly started yelling at people at the bar that Michelle Obama is a man. And whether she is or not, it's just not it's not something you randomly yell at people. And she is actually the first one I'd ever even heard that from. Now we laugh at some of the conspiracy theories now, but she was the one who brought that to my attention. Oh, she was a nut. And you know what? Perfectly sweet when she was sober. Absolutely a doll when she was sober.
Yeah.
But I did notice when I went over to her house, as you can see, I'm a glutton for punishment. I did notice that when I went over to her house that she had a breath thing where she had to start her car. She had to blow into a tube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
That's a major red flag. That's like at least 3 red flags.
But I really liked her. Like when she was sober, she was such a nice person and we got along well.
I totally get that. Yeah, my girl was great when she was sober too.
Yeah.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Well, and now you have a sugar baby that have you been exclusive with her for 2 years?
Yeah. Yes,
so
I have.
tell us
wow.
all about this. How did this transpire?
Yeah, that's really what I'd love to talk about. More like the successes than the horror stories, because it's been real
Well,
good.
we got to do both sides, but I love the successes.
We'll call her D. We agreed that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll call her D.
And let me just preface this. Crash sent me some photos of himself and Dee, and she is stunning. She's a beautiful, is she African American?
Yes.
She's a beautiful black woman. She's so pretty.
How old?
And they look very handsome together. They make a really striking couple. How old is she?
She's 26.
Okay.
And at that time that I met her, I was meeting several different people. Actually, I actually broke up with her or ended our arrangement at one point because I just thought she was too busy. I thought that, yeah, it wasn't going to work out. We had a nice little arrangement for a while where we got together once a week, but I was traveling and then she was in school, busy with all that kind of stuff. I said, you know what? This probably isn't going to work out. She called me back maybe a month later and said, no, we need to work this out. We'll find the time. We'll make the time. And
she missed you.
I mean, I guess she did. And we did work on it. And so for 2 years, it's been really good. I would say there's been ups and downs for sure. She's through school now. And the arrangement that we had then was really necessary because she was in school. She wasn't working much at all. And it's been interesting the way it's evolved from like a really straight up arrangement to now where like she's my girlfriend. She contributes to the household. I mean, she doesn't make as much as I do, but we do share some expenses and it feels just like your garden variety boyfriend, girlfriend kind of relationship.
How long have the two of you lived together?
It's 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not even quite that long.
And that's been a good transition?
Yeah, that went really well too. Again, with the usual bumps in the road that you might get with a girlfriend.
Well, let me ask you this, because you have some grown children.
Yeah.
What's the age difference between your grown children? Because you have a grandchild as well, right?
Yep. My oldest son is 30. I've got a 28-year-old son. And then I have a 17-year-old son that's just about to graduate high school.
So 2 of your children are older than your sugar baby.
Yes.
We find that.
Have she met because she lives with you, she's met your kids, right?
Absolutely. We spend holidays with the kids, and I know her family too. I don't get any kind of weird vibes.
No kickback?
From either my kids or their wives, because they're both married.
Yeah.
And their wives are older than my girlfriend.
Yeah.
No,
that's awesome.
It's been totally cool. Her family, her dad, for a quick minute, thought it was weird, but he and I get along great. I'm going to spend Christmas with their family in an Airbnb, and I'm looking forward to it. They're super good people.
They all live here?
Yes.
Okay. So is she from Arizona?
Yes.
Are you from Arizona?
No, I'm not. And my older sons live out of town. So when we visit, where it's, here and there.
Yeah, more sporadic.
But
everybody's very accepting.
Yes.
I love that for you.
Yes, it is going so good. And we have told people how we met, but also I would say, like, even with the age difference, it doesn't come up a lot and nobody looks at us strange. I think I was anxious about making that transition.
Yeah. Well,
but
I would say you don't
well.
look to be in your late 40s. The only thing that gives you away is the gray in your beard.
Sure.
So if you didn't have that gray in your beard, people would probably think you were mid to late 30s.
Oh, but see, the girl likes it. So
I like it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best thing I did was shave my head and grow my beard out. I'm telling you, it absolutely changed the game for me as far as the attractiveness to the other women. They really like that.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I'm glad because I didn't really have much choice. All right. So I want to know, you met her on Seeking.
Yes.
And then you were dating other people. You were just casually dating. What facilitated the strong connection? Did you just really, really enjoy each other, the no pressure of it? Or did you guys find yourself bonding very quickly? Tell me a little bit about that dynamic, because the reason I want to go there is this lifestyle is so misunderstood and people don't understand how relationships actually form through these younger, older relationships. They don't understand how they can grow like that. I know because I've been a part of it.
Well, she and I share a lot of common values. We're both really family oriented. I think early on we were both sharing a lot of stories about, hey, how we grew up and things we liked and didn't like. And I recall she would share a story about something to do with her dad, right? To her, it's a story about how, oh, my dad did this and it was awful. And at the end of the story, I'd be like, well, that just sounds like a story about a good dad.
There you go.
I got that dad perspective. And I think I would share with her why I thought that. And she'd come around and be like, well, yeah, you know what? Maybe that's true. And I would do the same thing. I would say, hey, I did this, when my son did that. And she'd look at me and she'd be like, well, he just wanted this or he just wanted that. And I think we complemented each other really well. But at the same time, it's common values that bring us together.
Does she sing karaoke?
She does not sing karaoke.
Oh.
She goes with me to the bar sometimes, but no, she doesn't want to sing.
Well, how long did you guys date before you went exclusive?
Hard for me to say exactly.
Just kind of evolved into that.
A few months. But
whose idea was it?
Once I find somebody that I like, I just want to spend time with that person.
Yeah.
I don't know that we talked about it. And, if I ever have her on the show here, she'll explain our ideas of how that conversation is supposed to go and how it's supposed to be official or something is really different. Mm-hmm. To me, I stopped seeing other people when I didn't want to see them anymore. And I didn't feel like it required some sort of announcement. I think she was maybe nervous that it wouldn't go her way if she brought it up, or maybe she made an assumption, but we didn't really talk about it. Mm-hmm. One day I just introduced her as my girlfriend to a neighbor and she was like, oh, I guess I'm his girlfriend now.
Was she cool with it? Did she like that?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, okay.
She did. But it was probably 2 or 3 months after that we talked about it. And she said, I'm your girlfriend now. I was like, wait, why? She was like, because you introduced me to Mary Ann as your girlfriend. I was like, okay. Well, but I was good with it too. So there you go.
You said she's 24?
26.
26.
Oh, 26. Had she been sugar dating long before she met you?
Actually, I'm the only guy that she ever met off of Seeking.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've run into a few girls where I was the only guy they met or the first guy they met. So it's such an interesting timing issue. I met a girl 8 years ago when I first got on. Literally, she was on the site for a week and off. Never been on the site again. And we're still friends to this day. Kimmy, when I met her, she had just jumped on the site here in Arizona and then was flooded with messages and then got off of it shortly after. So it's such an interesting timing issue. You just never know who's going to pop up and then there's going to be a lasting person in your life.
And you'd think with the difference in age that we wouldn't match up in terms of like what we're looking for in life. But me and Dee, we're going to do something that I think is super cool. Let's see, when my son is out of high school this summer, we are packing up our stuff. We're putting all of the furniture and everything into storage, and we are just going to hit the road. We're going up to Montana for a month. We're going to hit the Midwest. We're going to go to Boston. When it gets cold, we're going to head down to New Orleans and Florida. We might go down to Panama.
You're just going to be like a nomad, just traveling the country?
Yeah, dude, until we get sick of it.
Now,
that is so cool.
You can work remotely?
Yeah.
But she can't really work remotely.
Well, she works in healthcare, and they can temp.
True.
So, that's for her to kind of
This could be a really fun and exciting lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. You already have children. Does she want children?
I was about to ask that.
Oh, gosh. Yes. Yes,
she does. And how do you feel about that?
I am pretty set on the fact I'm not going to have kids, and I've been fixed. So it would be some kind of surgery or whatever.
Do you think that could be a roadblock in this being a lasting connection for you two?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
And she and I talk about it. We've actually, I don't think this is out of line for me to say also, we've been to couples counseling. When we hit a snag at one point, I suggested, hey, let's go talk to somebody. And that went really well, by the way.
Good.
We're in a super good place right now. But that's something that came up in counseling. And we just need to be transparent with each other about how we feel. And right now, it's not something that's going to cause us to break up.
Yeah.
If
just maybe down the road.
5 or 10 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up on somebody that I love because it might be a problem in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, with these younger, older relationships, this is actually more common than not because the girls do fall for the older guys. And then, even Alejandra, like her parents and her grandparents were asking her, hey, Marcus is kind of old. I mean, can he still make kids? So, she's 27 and, it's an issue.
Yeah. How do we know if you're shooting blanks or not?
I'm pretty sure I'm not, but
it doesn't matter right now, but it might matter down the line.
Yeah, I know. So that's just something we're going to have to deal with here in a few years when push comes to shove, but we'll see.
And the truth of the matter is Alejandra's still young. Dee's still young. If they get dead set on, okay, my clock is ticking and I need to have a baby sooner rather than later, then that would be at the point where I'm sure you have several years before she really starts getting that baby fever.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe I wouldn't say this if she was sitting right here because she doesn't want to hear it, but I know that I'll be okay if that happens.
Yeah.
If we break up. I broke up with other people that I loved before too, and it sucks for a while, but life goes on. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I also know she'll be okay.
Well, that's a healthy way to look at it.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
The problem is before, and when I was younger, if I had a serious girlfriend or somebody I really, really loved and we broke up, it was devastating to me because it's so hard to find that person, right? And I just didn't have a lot of opportunities. Not saying that they just come in waves now, but there's not that scarcity mindset any longer. And I have met so many people that I could absolutely fall in love with if the timing was right and everything worked out. So even though it's very tragic and heartbreaking to lose that person, when you go into it with the mindset that, yeah, it's unfortunate, but life goes on and love goes on, it just makes it easier to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
But boy, when I was in my 20s, man, I had a girl I really, really was in love with, and we broke up, and then she ended up getting married, and I'm just sitting there single for years and years and years. I just could not find somebody that I liked or even that would even give me the opportunity. Because back then I hadn't accomplished anything. I didn't have any money. I didn't have, I just, I'm trying to find my way. And that's not attractive to the girls that I was attracted to.
Yeah. You didn't have the confidence that you have now.
Right. And confidence is huge. The drive is huge. Now, I finally met my ex-wife when I was in my early 30s. And she definitely said, I married you for your potential. I mean, she saw my potential and she recognized it and acknowledged that that was one of the factors is because I did have potential. Because literally I was working in a restaurant job making $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and we were struggling. But then by the time we divorced 16 years later, we literally divided up 19 houses. I worked my ass off during then, but fortunately I found somebody that would give me an opportunity, but it was hard. It was so difficult. Now with seeking and online dating and seeing some success and having the confidence, I'm having, I don't know about you, Crash, but I'm having more fun now in my 40s and 50s than I ever had.
Absolutely.
Which is why he doesn't want to raise kids all over again. Because as wonderful as those years are, it's even more wonderful when those kids are grown and raised and you get to just spoil the hell out of them grandbabies, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Those are the good times.
Lily loves her grandbaby.
God, you should see my Christmas tree. Half the room is filled up with presents for my little guys. It's ridiculous. Even Trucker's like, oh my goodness, you really went a little overboard, didn't you? Yeah, I did.
Crash, what would be your thoughts kind of as we close out here? If some gentleman was thinking of doing this lifestyle, what would be your advice to him to kind of try to play on some of the mistakes that you made and how to find success here?
Well, I think back to those initial frustrations. You have to learn some stuff. And so it's going to take some time probably to get some traction. So Dee met somebody on her very first date and it worked out. But I don't think that's the norm. Like, that's not the lesson. The lesson is like, it's going to take a little while. You're going to meet a lot of people, most likely. Some of them are going to blow you off. Some of the dates are going to be horrible. But
right, Lily?
Yes. That is absolute truth.
But I think that there's a big enough pool of people that you can definitely find somebody good.
Yeah. Don't get discouraged. There were times in my 2.5, 3 years of sugar dating before I found Trucker that I would just get so discouraged. Seriously, I thought I came to the place where I was going to find these far superior men who were going to treat me the way I deserved to be treated. And man, I would get let down again and again. And sometimes it would be somebody that I had really invested in. Yes, they invested in me, but I had really invested in them. In fact, I even moved in with Scorpio. And so I was highly invested. And it was such a depressing disappointment to figure out, no, the compatibility is not there. And the quality of a relationship that I really feel like I need to insist upon, it's not there. And I can't continue lowering my standards.
Well, but I like that you said you invested in them.
Because, 100%.
Because I think sometimes on that website, people think, well, okay, if the first, meeting doesn't go well, then discard them and move on. Maybe because there's so many profiles on there, it's worth investing a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go 3 dates with somebody.
Yeah.
And if by the 3rd date, I didn't think it was going to go well, then that's fine. I need to move on.
Yeah.
But by 3 dates, you kind of know what somebody's all about.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I met somebody earlier this year. Fantastic meet and greet. Had a great time. Took them on an actual first date. Went fantastic. But by the 2nd or 3rd date, things started wearing a little bit. And I kind of figured out, I'm wasting my time with this person. So, but you got to give it time. Here's what I absolutely love about sugar dating. You don't even have to be in love with that person. You don't even have to like some things about them, but you can still have a great time with that person. Knowing full well, this is not going to be a long-term relationship. Let's go out, let's go to dinner, have some great conversation, whatever we do. At the end of the night, you go your way, I go mine. And then if we want to do it again, great. If we don't, no hard feelings. Like, you can still be friends. Alejandra, there's a couple people, Alejandra's like, why do you see that girl? She's crazy. I'm like, I know, but there's something about her I really like, but I can only take an hour or 2 with her. And then I'm done, absolutely done. There's no way the relationship will ever go past that. But I enjoy her as a person, and I enjoy some of the things she brings to the table, and then she enjoys some of the things I bring. And we really have a good time for the hour or 2 we see each other, but then that's it. Then you're going to find people that you actually start spending time with them, and you start growing, and the relationship grows naturally, organically, and then you just want to spend more and more time with them, kind of like Crash, and then it just turns into a relationship, which is fantastic. And that's why relationships come out of sugar dating.
And I have to admit, one of the things that I love about Dee the most is that she's crazy.
I keep you on your toes.
Define that.
I love her.
She's wild.
Everybody's crazy a little bit, but her particular brand of crazy just works.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it works for me. Yeah.
It's exciting.
It keeps things interesting.
She keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's mouthy.
We really, really appreciate you coming in. We love the sugar daddy point of views. They're a little harder to get, and we appreciate you opening up and giving us your experience about it.
Yeah, and if Dee ever wants to join you, that would be fun. I'd love to. I want to see her crazy.
That would be fun.
That would be so fun.
She will be mouthy on the show.
She'll put you in your place. I love it. You got to do that sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories like Crash and me, I continue to share mine, and Lilly and whoever wants to come on, we'd love to have you. Go to our website, contact us, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You can find us on Instagram. Great way is through Patreon. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. If you want to email us, it's at info@secretsofasugardaddy.com. And then don't forget to apply for the party. If you want to come, you better get your application in now. It's going to come up quick, Lily.
Get after it.
We got a lot of planning ahead. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to think about planning until I get back from my vacation.
Yeah. And then finally, we would love to have you at least become a part of our family at Patreon. That is our podcast fan page, and it's a lot of fun. So go to patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. All right, Lily, anything else before you head to the Caribbean?
Nope. I'm good to go. Gonna celebrate Christmas early with my little grandbabies, and then we're off to the tropics.
Sounds great. All right, Crash, have a great holiday season.
Hey, thanks.
Hopefully we'll be talking soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.